Hello, in this video we take a bit of a look at SQL. So SQL is an acronym. It stands for Structured Query Language. So SQL is first and foremost used as a query language, a language to query databases, to specify or describe some data we wish to retrieve from or extract from a relational database. But SQL is not just that. It's also a data manipulation language, which means that it has an insert statement to insert rows into a table, one or more rows in a single statement, an update statement to update one or more rows in a single statement, and a delete statement to delete one or more rows in a table in a single statement. SQL is also a data definition language. It has create and alter statements. So we saw before an example of a create table statement. There's an alter table statement, and there are create statements to create other objects in the database. Now the importance of SQL is undisputed. It's the lingua franca of relational databases, and I refer you to this website in the UK, which is quite interesting. It decomposes online job ads for IT positions in the UK and gives a ranking of the terms that appear in those job ads, tracks their popularity and frequency of occurrence in these job ads over time. And at this time, SQL is the third most popular term in the rankings by IT JobsWatch. Notice that SQL Server, that's Microsoft's server database engine, is ranked 5th, and Oracle, which is another very popular database engine, is ranked 13th. Now the study guide refers you to a Wikipedia article that describes or provides a lot of information about SQL, including some details about some of the SQL standards. So what do you need to know about the SQL standards for this course? Well, the answer is have a look at the learning objectives. The learning objectives will tell you. So SQL is a query language, a data definition language. So here's another create table statement. This is a create table statement to create the product table. It's a data manipulation language. It has insert, update and delete statements. So here are statements to insert the first row that we see here in the product table, to update that row, and to delete that row. And as the name suggests, SQL is first and foremost a query language for retrieving data from one or more tables. Now, in the study guide we've provided a collection of example SQL queries, and the focus of interest this week, and in fact our main interest in SQL in this course, is its use as a query language. And we want to get you up and rolling with SQL as a query language this week. So what I'm going to do is, just from this PDF version of the Week On Study Guide, I'm going to select that query, type Control C, and then I'm going to hop across to the Microsoft using the KWare database, and I'm going to go create query design, and this is a little dialog that's coming up to ask me which table am I interested in querying data from. I'll just close that down, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this query window into SQL view, and then I can Control V to just drop that query into that window. Now at that point I can select to run my query. So database tools, run macro, nope, that's not it, somewhere here. Query tools, here we go, query, run query, and there's a result. Let's go back into SQL view. So what is this query saying? Well, it's saying select values from these columns from the customer table. It's pretty simple. Just run that query again, and there's the result. So that's cool. So let's have a look what other kind of queries we've got here. Let's find one with a where clause. Let's have a look at this query here. Control C, hop across, go back into SQL view, just select that text, Control V, and then I'll run the query. And there we go, we've got a result. Let's go back into SQL view and have a look at that. So that's saying select star, which says select all columns, values in all columns from the customer table where the following is true, where the value in the CID column is equal to 1. Run it again, that makes sense. So we're just seeing that one row with a CID value of 1. That makes sense. Okay, what else have we got here? Let's have a look at this one. Notice that when we are saying I'm interested in only certain rows, and now I'm going to do my search to find the rows of interest using a text string. So I'm saying select star, show me the values in all columns from the customer table where the following is true, where the value in the name column is equal to this string. And notice that I've had to put this string into single quotes. So I'm interested in those customers with the name of Best Kitchens enclosed in single quotes. Let's run that query, and there it is, our 2 customers with a name of Best Kitchens, and so on. So what we invite you to do is to experiment with these queries. So for example, I might grab this one here, Control C, go back into SQL view, Control V, clear up the end after the semicolon. So the semicolon is denoting the end of the query. So I just run that query. Yep, working okay. So what is it saying? Give me the values in all columns from the customer table where the value in the CID column is greater than 3 and the value in the postcode column is greater than 3000. So that was CID greater than 3, so we've got CID values of 4 and 6 appearing, and a postcode greater than 3000. So what if I change that postcode greater than 4000? I would expect then to only see this one row here. So let's make that change. Go back into SQL view. So let's say postcode is greater than 4000. Let's run that, and now we only see one row in the result. So this is what we invite you to do. We invite you to have a look at these queries, see if you can make sense of them, and then experiment by making changes to the query just to test that you understand what these queries are doing. And then after that, what we want you to do is go to the assignment 1 specification, and you'll see that there are some information requests there. Requests that say, I would like to see this information drawn from the KWare database, from these tables. And so what you can do then, you can say, okay, well, let's imagine that I'm creating a query to answer the first query, the first information request in assignment 1. So let's say I'm interested in the postcode value for rows in the customer table where CID is greater than 3. I'm not sure why we'd be interested in that, but anyway, let's have a look at that. There's the result. So let's imagine that there was an information request in assignment 1, the first information request, that said, we want to see the postcodes for all customers with a CID value greater than 3. Now, if this is my solution, what I can now do is I can close this. So do you want to save change to the design of this query? Yes, I do. That's query 1. So that's my solution to the first information request in the assignment. And then I can say, alright, well, let's see if I can develop the query now for the second information request. So we go create query in design. No, I'm not going to use this graphical design interface for my query. I'm going to go straight to the SQL view, and I'm going to type my query in here, and so on. So you get the idea. So this is what we invite you to do. From customer, that's a valid query. Yes, it is. Let's close it. Yes, and there's query 2, and so on. So that's how to develop your queries for the assignment. We would invite you to jump in and have a go at that. And just one final point. Let's have a look at this query here. Control C, hop back, create, query design. No, I'm going to SQL view, Control V. Let's run the query. Yep, and that seems to be getting a result. Let's see if we can make sense of the query. So it says, give me the values in all columns from the customer table where the following is true, where the value in the name column is like this, underscore E%. Now these characters are special. The underscore and percent are special characters. They're wildcard characters. So this is saying I'm interested in customers who have a name that starts with some letter followed by an E followed by some other letters, 0 or more other letters or characters. So let's run that. Let's have a look what we've got. Here are the names. So it's B, E and other characters. Here's L, E and other characters. So what we're seeing here is the use of wildcard characters, underscore and percent. Now these are the ANSI standard wildcard characters, and you need to make sure that Access has been configured to use those ANSI standard characters. So let me just demonstrate how you make sure that Access is set up to use those standard, the SQL standard wildcard characters. So you come into the Access options, and somewhere in here, I think it's Object Designers. Yep, here it is. So SQL Server compatible syntax, ANSI 92. Now SQL Server is Microsoft's server DBMS, and this is saying that we want to use the SQL syntax that's compatible with SQL Server, which is also compatible with the SQL standard. And so you need to make sure that this option is ticked here. You're saying, yes, I do want to use the SQL Server or the SQL standard compatible syntax. Okay, and that's it. So that should get you off and running with SQL, and hopefully you can make a start with assignment 1 and formulating queries to those first few information requests this week. Good luck with that.